Today we're going to talk about a grape game. This is our review of Viticulture.
Viticulture is a hand management worker placement game where your goal is to create the best winery and earn the most points.
Viticulture is played over several rounds called years, with each year consisting of 4 seasons.
Each player will start off with a Mama and Papa card that determines their starting resources.
In the spring season, players pick their turn order. Whichever spot they choose will have a different starting bonus for that year.
In the summer season, players can place their workers on the yellow locations on the board.
These locations allow players to build structures, plant vines, play visitor cards, or sell grapes or sell fields.
The workers remain on those locations throughout the year and cannot be used again until the next year.
In the fall, players can draw either a summer or winter visitor card that can be played in their season accordingly.
In the winter season, players can place their remaining workers on the blue locations on the game board.
These locations allow players to harvest their fields, make wine, fill wine orders, or train workers for the next year.
The goal of the game is to place your workers to create vines that you can harvest. Then, you take your harvested grapes to make and sell wine to earn points.
Once any player reaches 20 points, that signals the final year. Players continue playing until they complete that year.
The player with the most points once that year is completed wins.
We were all really big fans of Wingspan, so we took a look at Stonemeier's other games, and Viticulture was next on our list. And I was really impressed when we did the unboxing because the production value is just as good. So from what I can tell, most of the Stonemaier games all have really good production value.
I agree. From the pieces to the mechanics to just the artwork on it, a lot of thought went into this.
I really like that each player has their own colored variety of different tokens that they have to use while playing. You have the houses and the trellis and the different things. I really like the trellis, which has little grapes hanging. Of course, we can't not mention the rooster. So your rooster is the token in the spring, which chooses your starting position, and then you play it on the track, and that determines your order. So I like it. I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with winemaking. I know it's about farming. It's a rooster. I just think it's fun.
Everything really comes together nicely. I really like the 4 seasons, right? You got your spring where you can do this, your summer where you can only do this, your fall, your winter, and then it all resets and you do the same thing over again, but you can kind of decide in spring, like, okay, I need to go first this time.
Basically, it's a worker placement game. You have workers that you're placing in the field, either in the summer or in the winter, taking certain actions. There are a couple summer and winter visitor cards that you can use to attack other players, and you can kind of block other players from being able to go to certain spots because there are only a certain amount of spots open at each location. But other than that, it's pretty much a Euro game where you're just doing everything on your own, and what other people do don't really affect you. It's a race to get the most points. You have your wine order cards, and you're just trying to fulfill your orders, and you have your own field. So it's not like if Lee harvests his field, you can't harvest your field, as long as there's a spot still on the board.
One thing I really like were the workers. So one of them is this little gray worker, and this one sits here. So in the springtime, if you want an extra worker to use that year, then you sacrifice your turn, you'll have to go last, but you get an extra worker for the year. And then your regular workers, you got your smaller worker and then one larger worker. And that worker is like the super worker, where if any of the spots are full, he's still gonna go there, so don't you worry.
I think this game is a little difficult to teach someone if they're not really big in the board games. However, if you are a big board game fan and you like worker placement, hand management style type games, I think you'll really enjoy this game. If you've only ever played Wingspan from Stonemaier, then this might be a good one to play next because it's different, but it's not super complicated if you're already at the level of playing Wingspan. If you can play that game, you can play this game because I feel like while they're different, they're at the same difficulty level.
I will say, playing it the first time is very overwhelming. There's a lot of different moving pieces that you got to think about. And then now, okay, grapes turn into wine, but I got this grape and then, okay, it makes a white wine, but then this makes a red and I didn't unlock this building, so I can't make that wine yet. There's a lot to really digest. I didn't pick it up until maybe the middle of the game and I'm like, I got it now.
There is a slight luck of the draw mechanic because there are 4 decks that you're drawing from. You have the green cards, which are your vines, so you can plant the different vines that will then turn into grapes, which you can then make wine out of. You have the summer visitor cards, which are the yellow cards. you have your wine order cards, and you have your winter visitor cards. If you happen to draw really good wine order cards, so they're going to get you a lot of points as long as you follow the order correctly, then you have an advantage over people who keep drawing crappy wine order cards. You're like, either I can't fulfill all of these because they're all too powerful, or even if I fulfill all of these, I'm still only going to be at like 10 or 12 points. So it really is a combination of a little luck of the draw, which cards you get, and then based on the cards in your hand, how you place your workers. So it really is, you're managing the hand that you have in order to place your workers. So it does combine those two elements of hand management and worker placement pretty nicely.
What really held me back in this game, and a lot of games, for probably everyone, was money. Like, I couldn't figure out, like, okay, wait, I need a lot of money, then I'll win. So it's like, okay, I gotta do this, but then I sacrifice a worker. And on the farming theme, you know, farmers don't make much money, so I get it more now.
If only I had enough money, I could do everything I want to do.
And win. Overall, I'm going to give Viticulture an 8. It really all comes together. You got the nice pieces, there's a lot of different ones, you know, winemaking, all the different buildings, components that going in, the seasons. It just all goes together and works for me. I didn't start off very good, but when I figured it out, I was like, okay, I get it. I like it.
Overall, I'm going to give Viticulture an 8. I love the worker placement mechanic. I love worker placement games, and this is an excellent one. I like the thought process that you have to think about as far as ordering of when do I build buildings, when do I train workers, when do I do my fields, when do I make wine. But overall, it's a really fun game. I like Wingspan better, even though we gave Wingspan an 8 as well. However, this one also gets an 8.
And Teresa gives it a 10.
And Juliana gives it a 7.5. And that was our review of Viticulture.
What'd you think? Are you ready to rosé all day? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny.